Join us as we celebrate Computer Science Education Week this year with new and exciting workshops all week long. From live educator training sessions on a variety of topics to live classroom sessions with guest speakers, you won't be disappointed. Topics and activities range from Minecraft Education Edition to math and computer science, all there to engage you and your students throughout the week. Learn more and sign up for free at logicsacademy.com/CSEW. And do you want to inspire your grade 6, 7, and 8 students to invent creative solutions to everyday problems? The Investigate, Invent, Innovate program allows you to do just that. iCube's flexible lessons are curriculum aligned, where you can easily integrate into teaching plans through your virtual or blended classroom. Sign up for free, which includes live training and more at logicsacademy.com/iCube program. And now for my conversation with the amazing Dean Vendramin about a Minecraft journey and adventure in robotics in high school. Welcome back, everyone, to the Logics Academy podcast. I am excited about today's conversation with Dean Vendramin to talk about a Minecraft journey and adventure in robotics in high school. Dean, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on the show.
Thanks, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here and looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely. And I can only imagine it's going to be inspirational already. We were chatting before the show, and I'm excited to share your story with our listeners and our viewers. But before, I don't want to steal the thunder, so let's tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about who you are and what you do in education.
Sure. Well, again, like I said, my name is Dean, and I teach at Archbishop Emerson Catholic High School in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada here. And I've been teaching high school all my career. I did have a stint where I worked at our central office as a tech coach and a tech consultant for a little bit, but most of my time has been in the classroom. I majored in social and minored in math. And but I'm also a little bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. I've taught a class called Communication Media where we made web pages and different things. And this year I'm starting a new adventure teaching robotics. So that's been pretty cool. And I'm taught for over about 25 years, but I don't even know how long I've taught, to be honest, because it's such an adventure and I love learning that it's all one big blur, and it's been a great journey. So it's really, really been cool.
That's very cool. And education is just that. It is an adventure on its own. So let's talk Minecraft. What does Minecraft mean to you, I guess, and how do you use it with your students?
Well, my Minecraft story kind of even goes back to my own two kids. Like, they're 17 and 19 now, but back in the day, they were playing Minecraft and I jumped in there with them, and it just to see how they're creating things. And it's like, I always explain it to people, it's like a digital Lego in a sandbox. And just to see how they were, using their imaginations. And, I'd even go in there, and it wasn't your typical video game where you had to get a high score or there was something really, some kind of goal to accomplish. Like, you made your own kind of goals and stuff like that. And I said, wow, this is really cool. Not only just playing with my own kids, but, putting on my teacher hat. I said, well, this would be something, I could use in class. And I started out by letting kids use that as an option in some of their assignments to differentiate learning, and got some really good results. And then one time I was able to get a class of iPads, and we put Minecraft on and we got a little bit more. But as we've got further along with it, in my school division, I'm part of a group we're called the Connected Educators, and you had to apply and you had to commit to PD. But I got my own class set of laptops, and they're really good. And then we got Minecraft Education Edition put on them, and I've been using them in my math class, for example. In this high school kids, and the one class I have is like Workplace 20, and we learn things like slope and surface area and volume and trig and scale, and even some other concepts too. But we make an amusement park, and inside of Minecraft, so we take all the concepts that we're learning in class and we're using in there. And then I also teach social and Social 9, and in Saskatchewan, Social 9 deals with ancient civilizations. So my students are right now, actually, as we speak, they're doing the research of different civilizations, and they're going to take all that information that they researched and build their own civilizations. And just before that, we did a thing in archaeology. I made a little dig site, and I hid things underneath the ground there, and they had to go dig them up and make inferences and use the book and quill and take pictures and all that. And we're going to build medieval castles. And I also run a tech club through the years too. And that's how I kind of got into robotics, but we also do a lot of Minecraft. So right now we have a group. They're doing UNESCO's sustainability goals project there with Nature for Good, I think it's called. And actually I helped do with logistics a webinar there with Sarah. She's does the museums. She works with the museums in Ontario, and she's amazing. So there's always something more to learn, and I've used it in class a lot. And I've even used it in my university class, getting my master's and sharing that. And I've helped a lot of teachers with their journey as well. Like, I find a lot of elementary teachers are amazing, and I've seen some elementary teachers use it to teach like the boy in the striped pajamas and come to life for the kids, and a lot of other things too, even tree education and that too. I've helped some teachers out with that. So I like to, for a while there, I kind of felt like an outlet unto myself, but now I see it's growing and people are getting more excited about it, and it makes me happy because I see the thing that really hooked me and keeps hooking me is this one student. He was maybe not the most academically gifted student, but when I gave him a chance to show his learning inside of Minecraft, his exact words, "This is my time to shine." And right there, then I'm like, yeah, okay, this is the goods, this is the stuff. And I just find that, the kids have really responded well and getting amazing results. So that's a little bit of my journey with Minecraft.
Wow. And some amazing stories. And you've given some amazing examples. Like, I want to go to your dig site. I want to be part of that process. It's so amazing to hear. And that exact example of a student, saying it's my time to shine, you're reaching other students that maybe you wouldn't have reached before using Minecraft. And so one of the things that we don't often talk about is Minecraft at the high school level. So what is it like getting high school students to dig in, if you will, pun intended, to Minecraft and use it as an actual tool for their learning at the high school level?
Yeah, the initial reaction from them, the high school kids, usually is like, "Doing what?" But then once they see, like, it's like anything else. If you have a good idea and you think it out, like, it is a great tool, like you said. And I find a lot of kids have already played Minecraft before, so a lot of my Minecraft skills I've actually got from my students. So it gives the students some ownership, and they get to share what they know, and they get to teach me things which I'm cool with, and that's always fun. And there are some students that haven't played Minecraft before, but that's the beauty of Minecraft, that there's a lot of different entry points. Even if you've never played it before, it doesn't take too long to start to pick it up and dig in, like, pun intended as well. But there's some kids that are sophisticated, and they're shown like how to use command blocks or structure blocks or coding and stuff too. So some are super fast builders, and some, but like I said, the beauty of it is that it's not about playing Minecraft. It's about expressing their ideas in a way that's unique and giving them the ownership and the challenge. So, and sometimes we forget that even high school students and adults, right, we need to play, and that element of play it brings in meshes in really well with that. But a teacher still has to know what their curriculum objectives are and what they're doing. It's not like here's Minecraft, have at her kind of a thing. You do need to have a plan and see what your curriculum objectives are, but you can do it even in high school. And I know it's getting more. It's something, there's more people asking and scratching about it. For a while there, people are always giving me weird looks, like, "You're doing what?" And same with the kids. But the proof is in the pudding. When I look at some of the work that the students have, I know I would never have got the quality of work that I would have gotten traditional ways. Just to see these kids, like I said, shine through this has been pretty phenomenal.
And you mentioned something there. You said, I think you said paper and a quill or book and a quill, and then you said command blocks. Many of our listeners and our viewers, I'll even say, including myself, you may think Minecraft is just digging and moving blocks or whatever. But can you talk a little bit more about some of these kind of higher order processes that Minecraft offers? Because I mean, I'll speak. I'm not sure what a command block is, or what are those things that students go in and be creative because we think on the surface, oh, they're just going in and moving blocks and building with Legos. But what are some of the other things that students can do while they're in Minecraft and producing for you as the teacher?
Yeah, well, I can give this example that actually this project I'm doing right now with my grade nines, there's lots of different ways to add things in. Like if you can put in an NPC, which stands for a non-playable character in there, you can actually converse. You can have a conversation. You can make it interactive. So like when the students do their research, they can put what they put up in their research, they can type it in or copy and paste it and put a link that would actually take them outside to a web page. So Microsoft Education Edition is Minecraft, but it has all these extra layers to it. You can even put a command in there where there's different buttons and you click on it and they would kind of have a conversation with you. You could add in signs. So you can say, here's where things are and that type of thing. And you can also do things like using redstone, and you can have, almost like electricity, like circuits, moving in special doors and that the kids get into. And that, like I was mentioning the book and quill, as you go around, when we were doing our archaeology assignment, the kids, when they found a chest and they open it up, they could actually take a picture of what's inside, and then it would save it in there. And then you can type in right in there, right inside of Minecraft, you can type in what you thought you saw and how you can find this. And then later on, you can just export that file as a PDF and hand it in. So you as a teacher don't even have to go into Minecraft. You could get the kids to do that, export it, and you get a PDF where you just you'd see where they went, but more importantly, you see what they learned and what they gathered from it. And there's so many other commands, and the kids figure things out too, like how to clone things and add things, and even in that project that we do, they can use something like Microsoft Forms, and they can embed a Microsoft form that if you click on it, it would take it out. So once the kids walk around the world and visit everybody and learn about their civilization, at the end you can have an interactive like a quiz to see what they've done. That so there's so many layers and so many things you can do. You can do some coding inside of there. And it has some block coding, so I get the students to code in what their civilization is. So they even have a compass rose that you can code in, and it's pretty simple to start out with, but you can get definitely more complex as you go on. So there's lots of ways to be interactive, share information, and it's so easy. Like once my students are done, for example, they can share their world, but then we're doing like a jigsaw activity where I can give that world to another group. They just go in Minecraft and they import that, and now they're in somebody else's world, interacting with the learnings that those kids have done. So, there's lots of cool ways to interact and to share. Minecraft Education Edition even has like a whole like periodic table and science things that you can do too. So, I really do think it's, like I said, it's a big sandbox. So. There's nothing you can't do. I've talked to a few English teachers, and they're starting to use it for students as story prompts. So you get some reluctant writers sometimes going on, and you can go and build. There's some pre-made worlds. So if you don't want to make something from scratch, there's a lot of their library is super extensive, and there's a lot of things that you can just jump into and pick and choose what you want to use from it. But it's definitely a really interactive tool that kids really dive into.
Wow. It seems like there's so many layers to it as well. It's not just, this surface piece, which is dig some blocks, build a house. There's so much more that can be done. And we've said it throughout our conversation, Minecraft Education Edition. So just in a nutshell, Dean, for our listeners and our viewers, what's the main difference between maybe, Minecraft, and then we keep calling it Minecraft Education Edition? Obviously it's for education, but what would be the main difference here from maybe a child who's used to using Minecraft at home and then Minecraft Education?
Well, it's based on the same game, so there's not a lot of difference except for these interactive pieces. Like you wouldn't find the whole periodic, like it has the whole periodic table each block, and it says that you wouldn't find that probably in a Bedrock or Java edition, those type of things. And then some of the work that you can do with NPCs and posters and signs and all that. But what we're able to do is to make the education edition. So then it'd be just like what we're talking about, to make it more interactive, to be able to take it into the classroom and, add knowledge or text or instructions or those type of things. You can even embed like Flipgrid things inside of there too, where a kid could do something inside of Minecraft Education Edition and do do a Flipgrid response. It even plays nice with Microsoft Teams now too, so you can share the world right through Teams. So the Education Edition is exactly what it states. It's for education, and those extras that are involved in it definitely are really flexible for whatever you like to use it for. So yeah, if a student had played Minecraft at home, like on their PC all the time, they would have no problem like figuring out all the ways to move and drop bricks and all that kind of stuff, and even a lot of the coding and behind. But then they would have this interactive piece to it that, again, I think is a real game changer.
Fantastic. And thank you for doing that comparison. I we often just say the words and maybe people don't get what it offers, but it does offer so much more connectivity and safe connectivity for students within the education system. And so Minecraft obviously is played on some sort of device or computer. Would you say, like with your students, do you often do it in group work, or is it always individual? What do they use, tablets or PCs? What does that look like for you with your students?
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier, I'm lucky in our division in Regina Catholic Schools to be a Connect educator. So I have my own class set of laptops, and we used to have HP streams, but now I think they upgraded them to Lenovo's, and those have been pretty good. And a really important point too for us is that we're a Microsoft school. So we a school division, so we get Minecraft Education Edition for free now. Back when I was first using it, I had to buy the apps and get the app licenses. And for the first time I had laptops, I actually had to buy licenses for just my class. But now it's been nice because it's been free for our whole division, which is really nice. Like kids can even download it at home, and as long as they have a RCSD account, they're able to download that game for free, and then they can even work on projects at home. And even with remote learning, you could do things like you can still do your projects. Actually, I had some of my best projects during remote learning that we had here in Saskatchewan like last winter. But then you have to teach the kids things like port forwarding and a few things like that to get that connectivity. But it is possible. For the most part, I like to let them do small groups when we do this. But it's actually kind of fun. Like on Friday, I made a pumpkin patch. Like there's a world that has a pumpkin, but I use a clone tool, and then I let all my students come in, and we all carved pumpkins together for a while too. So there's 30 kids, and they were all being creative in that. So you can do something super big like that. And I do give my students the options if they'd rather work on their own, but I do like the collaboration piece that Minecraft Education Edition allows for. And in a safe way. I really like that you added that point, Brian. Thank you for that. And that's what I like about the Education Edition, is definitely a safe place for kids to play. And you can talk a lot about digital citizenship skills, and and the kids really shine in that as well. But I just usually there's smaller groups, and but they can do things like they can work synchronously, like at the same time with the join code. But they can work asynchronously also. I always compare it to it's like a Word file. Like once they go into Minecraft, they can build their world, but then they have an opportunity to export it. And I always tell them to export it just in case, to be on the safe side. But once they export that world, you can upload it into something like Teams, or you can email it to one another, and you could actually work on it at home and call it version 2, and then send it back and work on it and call it version 3. So you can work in a group synchronously or asynchronously, depending on what your time constraints are and all that. So, and I like that flexibility that's built in. So it really works well in a regular class or in remote learning or hybrid learning. There's a lot of flexibility involved in it.
It's great to hear about all that flexibility and different ways of doing it. And now now I want to carve pumpkins with you. Now
Oh,
we're
it's fun.
diving into
Blast.
Minecraft and trying to carve some pumpkins. So my question to you there, because you mentioned also doing kind of like this dig site pumpkins, how long would that take for our listeners and our viewer thinking, oh, Dean, you've got a lot of time on your hands. How long does it take to build one of these worlds where you bring your students in to do this kind of activity?
Well, the archaeology one that I found a world that just had it was like 16 squares, like, but what was nice about it is also it had command blocks built in already, so you can't get outside. So a lot of the things I just take and I just tailor towards what I need. I wouldn't consider myself a master Minecraft builder like some of these very detailed and intricate worlds that I've seen. That's really not my thing. So like I usually find something and then I adapt to it. Like the pumpkin one was their challenge, so I found that, but I wanted to work together with the students and that too. So I just learned the clone tool. It didn't take me that long, and just cloned, and boom, I had a whole pumpkin patch with over 30 pumpkins in it rather than just a one. And then the other one, it's a labor of love a little bit too, but the archaeology one I was talking about, I went in there and I dug holes and then I hid things in, and I made, so each square, had something. Well, one just to mess with the kids a bit. One square I didn't put anything in, but then they had to go around and dig. But I took using the book and quill. I took pictures of where I did things, so I had a master sheet so I could remember myself where things are going on that. But something like the project they're doing right now, the kids are making it from scratch, so they've got to figure out what their biome is. For example, like if they're doing the Egyptians, they want to find a desert biome. If they're doing the Cree, they want to find a plain. So a lot of that, what they're doing right now, the kids are starting things from scratch and coming up with their own ideas, which I really like. But like I said too, there are a lot of pre-made worlds that you can dive into and just kind of adapt for your means. But yeah, so again, just like the kids have different entry points, I'd say Minecraft Education Edition has different entry points. If you're new to it, there are some pre-made ones, or just that your kids have at her. Or if you are really into Minecraft, I've seen some amazing worlds. And like I think two teachers, they built like Verona, Italy, and so you can go and kind of do Romeo and Juliet, and they built that from scratch. And I'm like, well, more power to you. That's pretty amazing. But so I don't build as much as maybe some of other people might, but you don't have to.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the beauties of it is I love that you said that you adapt, another world to make it fit for what you're trying to do. It doesn't, you don't always have to start with a blank slate. You can use, adapt, and innovate other things that exist, which I think is a fantabulous feature to have. So, Dean, we are at a point in the show that I like to call my expert top 3 tips. So my question to you, Dean, is what are your top 3 pieces of advice for our listeners and our viewers who are looking to get started with EdTech in their classroom?
Well, I guess, the one thing is that have a growth mindset. Be okay with making mistakes. Mistakes is where we learn. Like, we expect that from our kids, and I think we need to do that as well. But make it a calculated risk. Make sure it's dealing with curriculum and what your objectives are going to do. And you can start small and do that. But I would definitely say have a growth mindset. That'd be my first tip. My second tip would definitely be, trust your students. Let them figure things out for you too. You don't have to know everything to get into it. Kids are pretty smart, and when they see that you're vulnerable like that and you're a learner as well, you usually you can build those relationships with them too, and they like showing, hey, Mr. V, do you know you can do this? No, I didn't. Thank you. Yeah, let's do that now. Those things. So I definitely would say use the kids as an amazing resource. And my last tip would be to, especially with something like Minecraft Edition, have some fun, show some energy, and get into it. And it's really contagious. And that way you can handle and you can troubleshoot and problem solve things if you're not stressed out about it. Take things with the tech. I always say the technology is great when it works, right? So you got to kind of think on the fly and that. But if you're having fun, you can say, okay, well, that didn't work. What's plan B? So all 3 of those kind of, interrelate really well, all 3 of those tips. So I definitely, say have a growth mindset, use the kids as much as you can, and also have fun what you're doing. It's like anything else in education. If you're having fun, it doesn't even seem like work. And you learn a lot.
Absolutely. And what a great way to end, which is just have fun with it. Because then it doesn't seem like work. Lean on the students, a fantastic way to end our conversation, Dean. Dean, I thank you for joining me on the podcast. I encourage everyone who's listening and watching to follow Dean at Vendy55 on Twitter to see the amazing things that are going on, to hear his story. And don't forget, if you're interested in being on the podcast as well, you can register and sign up to be a guest on the podcast so that we can hear your story, just like we heard Dean's amazing story here today. As always, don't forget to follow Logix Academy on all social media at Logix Academy. And don't forget, let's inspire innovation across the nation.